Hello, and welcome to E-cig Review, and today what we're going to be reviewing is the new manual batteries from Vapor for Life for the Vapor King. Here's what they look like. As you can get a pretty good guess of just how long they are. Maybe trying to line them up so you could get a good idea. It's just about an inch difference or so. Anyway, fundamental difference here is they have a button. I'll be covering the other differences later in the close-up. But basically, spin a cartomizer on there. I had my favorite thing in the world almost, second only to pineapple, and that would be menthol. You press the button and then you vape it. I mean, it's like a 510 button. There are some differences. This button is hard. I don't know how well the camera will catch that, but it's not like the little rubber bouncy button that frequently lost that the 901 has, you know, the one that people pick out so that they will go into the charger. These, you don't have to fool with that button. You don't have to pick it out of there or get an adapter or anything. This will go right in the charger just the way it's supposed to, and the charger stops about that close to the button. You still got, well, it's over an eighth, probably not quite a quarter of an inch of room to spare once you spin it into the AC charger. Of course, the other chargers, it fits even better. But it doesn't hit the button. It doesn't really get close. Now, you do have to mash these buttons. I noticed that right off. The first thing I thought I was having trouble with the batteries. It turns out I just wasn't really giving it the good full mash. Basically, they have a, I don't know, 5-second cutoff. I'm actually, when I timed it, I got just a shave over 5 seconds. Somebody with a better stopwatch than me, there will be a demonstration of that later. Now, the mega battery, the extra long battery, obviously is extra long. And it took me about 7 hours to kill this bad boy the other day. 2 cartomizers, and I went to start a third and quit. And I glanced up at the clock again to see just how much I've gotten out of it. And I vape a lot. So 7 hours for me, that's pretty good. It's supposed to be 380 milliamp hours, and that's damn near a battery mod. They used to advertise the Janty Stick at 340, 360, somewhere in there. So this is actually more battery than the Janty Stick. I've got the ceiling fan on, but vapor production between the two is really not that different. They're both 3.7 volt batteries. This one's voltage will drop slightly less because it's longer. It has a higher amperage. It will drop slightly less on ignition than this one. So this would technically, if there were some real reasonable means to measure it, this would probably produce slightly more vapor, at least at first. But the real win on this is in duration. This thing's a lot longer. It's a lot heavier. And as a consequence, it lasts longer. Other than that, there's really not a lot to say about them except that I just love a manual button. That's me personally. Some people do not. The thing I love about the manual button, other than there's just really no way to accidentally misfire it unless you somehow sit on it, you really do have to press that button. It's not, I mean, you don't have to put your thumb through it. It isn't going to hurt your thumb, but you have to push on it a little harder. 901 manual is the only manual I got for something like that around here as a pass-through. It has this little rubber button that's pretty easy to push, but the problem is you push it sideways and your finger slips, the button goes flying across the room. I've lost a few of those, and it's kind of a challenge to find. It is really small. These won't fall out. They're kind of captured in the device. You pick at them, they stay there. Let's see what this looks like with vapor production now. This is a long battery. It's like Harry Potter's wand, and I just feel like I'm going to start, well, no, let's not even go there. Anyway. I don't know if you caught what I just did. This button, when you push it, lights up the light. The light stays on for 5 minutes, and that's the end of your drag. There's one thing about this I really like, and that is if you let go of the button and press it again, and I mean just for a second, the atomizer doesn't even get cool. It doesn't have a chance to. You can get a good 10-second drag out of this thing, and maybe more. Once you get your timing right, you could probably just vape it dry, but I don't think anyone could drag that long. But That was almost 3 drags. That was a bit much for probably anybody. But so the timer on the button, you don't have to wait for the light to blink. You don't have to wait for the light to quit blinking. At any time, you let go and press again, and it's like a semi-automatic weapon. It fires one more time. And it will keep doing that as long as you want to do it. So anyway, now I'm going to give you a little overview and up close of the differences, because there are several, between these new manual batteries and the old automatics. The first thing you'll notice is the size difference, of course, between the extra large battery and the standard batteries. Now, the differences that the manual batteries have, there's more than one. It's not just a button. Now here what we have is an automatic battery. And the automatic battery is just about exactly, looks like exactly, the same size as the new manual battery. Here you see the button on the new manual battery. So we can use the manual battery for comparison purposes here. The new extended battery is considerably longer. If we line up the thread ends there, you'll notice the other battery is a good, I'd say, an inch long. Yeah, it's just about an inch. Get that one lined up. That one at an inch. It's a little short of an inch. Just a little short. Alright, so what is different about the manual battery? Well, aside from the obvious stuff, which would be the buttons, there are a few other things. The hole design has changed. Let me see if I can find myself a little pointer here. I guess an ink pen will do. Now, as you look around the battery, there are these small little round holes, which I'm really hoping the camera can pick up. Let me try to focus here real quick. Okay. Now we're going to run in close. Get it as centered as I can. Get the focus as good as I can. Now, it's going to be really hard to see. I almost have too much light. But if you look, there's a little tiny hole right there. As you turn the battery, there are more holes. As it turns out, the new manual batteries have 3 holes, whereas the old batteries, the auto batteries, only had 2. Other differences you'll find, aside, of course, from the button, is that the center hole here is plugged. If you look inside, you'll actually have to have one in person for that. I don't believe the zoom is really going to capture it. I'm going to give it my best shot. What do you know? It will capture it. Okay, focus. Inside of that hole, what you will see is a blob of silicone that seals it up from the back side. There's no pressure switch anymore. You know, there's no reason to have that open. So it is sealed right up. I wonder if that gives us a better look. Those holes. Yeah, there's one of them. Those holes are for airflow. And as you turn the battery around, there's actually 3 of them. There's 2 you're looking at right there. And there's a 3rd. Now, another difference between this battery and the old automatic batteries, when you look at the end, you'll notice that this is solid. There's no slash in it. Here's an automatic battery for comparison. You'll notice a little air passage is put in here. Now, that caused a greater airflow through the device, and I would presume that since that is not present here, but they did add a 3rd air hole, what they were trying to do is, hey, you can actually see all 3 air holes now. Look at that. There's an air hole, and there's an air hole, and over here is an air hole. Huh. Strange angle to see all 3 at once. Well, anyway, long story short, there are some differences between the 2 batteries, and it is not just that it has a manual button. That has been the manual batteries, the new manual batteries for the Vapor King from Vapor for Life. One side note, one thing I forgot to mention, I'll throw in there at the very end, and that is these will fit and will work on a 901. If you just happen to want a Mongo manual battery for your 901, or just a higher than normal milliamp hour battery, because this even is far superior to the 901 battery. 901 battery is only about that long. These will do the job. They will fit, they will work, they will have no trouble. They're sealed, so if you drip, you even got that covered. But anyway, on a 1 to 10 scale, I'd rate them both about a 9, because I've been waiting for manual battery forever, and now that I have it, I'm really not disappointed. But anyway, there it is, the manual battery for the Vapor King, available at Vapor for Life. And thanks for watching.